What is good, everybody? This is the Generation 71 coming back to you with part 2 of the greatest games of the past decade. Funny. I don't know why I put the past in there. I just felt like I needed to be clear. People understood what I was going for. It's like, dude, it's only been 2 years into this new decade. You can't call that out. It's like, yeah, no, we're doing the past decade. So I do want to make some addendums from last video. Specifically, it was funny. It was Forrest that ended up calling me out. It's like, something went wrong when you didn't even mention a new 3D Zelda game for 2015, I believe it was. And yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, again, it's one of those things, as I said before, like, my list is my list, your list is your list, I get it. But Zelda, definitely, my bias got the best of me. I am not the biggest Zelda fan. And then not to mention, I remember what everybody said about the motion controls and how some people just didn't care for that, especially if you were a left-handed user. But I am interested to see how it'll do with the remake on the Switch coming out this summer. So, but I at least want to make that addendums. I guess that was in contention, but just from everything I've heard from Skyward Sword, just definitely compared to everything else that was on for that year, yeah, like I said. But with that addendum out of the way, let's get into 2016, shall we? And then it's funny too, I actually figured out Google has certain ways of searching things. I don't know if you guys knew this. Like, if you type in something specifically, things will come up in a specific way. Google's always had that feature, but a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to look into it. Best way to describe it, it's kind of like doing shortcuts when editing. It's the same thing, shortcuts when searching. Literally, I figured out if you do video games / the year, it'll actually bring up some of the pictures like we saw in 2010 and then never saw it again, which I think is funny. So I kind of did already kind of look over this. Here's some of the pictures. We will still go into the Wikipedia because they show you some of the games, but then they actually have the list of some of the some of the top rated games. So we will take a look at that as well. But yeah, you got Overwatch, Uncharted 4, Dark Souls 3. I loved Inside personally. Inside and Limbo, fantastic. And I feel like in a way it also kind of promoted Little Nightmares to become a series as well. So I think that's kind of cool. The Last Guardian, I know a lot of people were waiting for that for years, but then ended up essentially kind of disappointing some people because the mechanics, and even I can say this because I played a little bit of The Last Guardian and I'm still in the process of going through Shadow of the Colossus. You felt more control with Shadow of the Colossus, not so much in Last Guardian, and I don't know why, because it technically is the same engine, so it's kind of weird, but I don't know. Pokemon Go, that's gonna be up for contention probably. Let's actually go into this and we'll see what actually won Game of the Year. So Dark Souls 3, Overwatch, Uncharted Thief's End. Makes sense, so alright. Persona 5 also came out this year, and so people will automatically understand that even though I didn't play it in 2016, I ended up playing it and ended up loving it, and so as much as I wanted it to win 2016, it's not going to win 2016. So, Inside, Overwatch, Dark Souls 3, NBA 2K17, man. It's the winner, okay? Yeah, so I think you guys have probably already guessed, but I'm gonna give 2016 to Overwatch. Just don't get me wrong, again, I love Persona 5, Uncharted 4 was fantastic, and then the other big one was Dark Souls 3, which did win a Game of the Year award. Overwatch, again, culturally just had a gigantic impact on society in itself, to the point that it actually brought in, again, a lot of people from just casual gaming into a lot more hardcore gaming. And I remember too seeing Overwatch in beta, and I was like, man, this game is weird. Like, I've never seen something like this. And now it's just natural, just like, oh, Roadhog, with his meat hook and all that. And then, like I said, with the comics, all the merchandise, even those like Pixar like videos that they were releasing, which they haven't done one in a while, which is kind of disappointing. I think Overwatch has to take 2016. So, and yeah, I played Overwatch hardcore for 2 years, so it's just it had a big impact. Oof. Oof. Okay, already looking at this, this is one I'm gonna get a lot of flack for, because there is a lot here. There's a lot. Okay, let's just go. So Breath of the Wild launched with the Switch in 2017. Horizon Zero Dawn, fantastic open world game. Super Mario Odyssey, if you ended up being a fan of any 3D Mario games, you had such a nostalgia trip with this one. It was insane. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Man, 2017 was a good year. Nier Automata, not my personal favorite, but I know people loved it. Destiny 2, people loved it. Cuphead, I've played too much Cuphead. Look, I even have a Cuphead hat. I technically have a shirt too, but I have a Cuphead hat. I love Cuphead. The Fractured Butthole, oh my god. Fun fact, I really actually just don't like South Park, though I've seen every episode with Tally in it, but I love the game, which is weird, or the games, which is weird because it's essentially just like another version of South Park. It's like an episode, you're playing through an episode, so... Fortnite technically, oh god, Fortnite, oh, okay, oof. I kind of don't want to do this video anymore. Can I just not? Okay, let's actually go into like the top rated games. There's no right answer here. There is no right answer. Oh. So let's get the giant elephant out of the room real quick. I'm even gonna make this kind of like let me talk to you specifically, okay? We know what Fortnite has done. We know how big of an impact it's had. It's still running strong in 2021. It has a ton of merchandise for it. You have things that have never been done before legally in the gaming industry. It's had a huge impact. I get it, okay? That did not all start in 2017. That maybe started really catching steam in 2018/19. So it was one of those things. Yes, I know people are gonna be like, yo, Fortnite, like how could you go over that? It didn't happen in 2017, okay? So you could disagree with me. Again, like I said before, if you want to make your list, go make your list. So I want to get that elephant out of the room, okay? So now let's go back. We're clear. Levels have decreased. We're good. And there's gonna be kind of the perfect example of, hey, like I told you, like I would pick Super Mario Odyssey. I love Odyssey, and I think it's fantastic. I think the two games I tell people, like when you pick up a Switch, you have to pick up Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, and I do not like Breath of the Wild at all. Again, I'm not a Zelda fan. That being said, 2017 has to go to Breath of the Wild. It has to, and there's a couple reasons why. It was launched with the Switch, and just paired with that is Switch is Nintendo's best, well, it's going to be, I don't think anybody can deny it. It's going to be Nintendo's best-selling console of all time. It's just going to happen. It's also something new in the gaming sphere that we've never seen before. Where again, it's like the Wii and then the Wii U. Oh god. But the Wii and the Wii U had a baby. And that's the Switch. That's what happened. It was a phenomenon in itself, and once people started catching on, the system started selling like hotcakes. Breath of the Wild continued to sell as hotcakes. There was controversy, I know. There's a particular YouTuber who actually gave it like 7 out of 10. He got a ton of flack for it. So there was the cultural, even the negative side of it, where people's like, if you don't love this game, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. 2017 has to go to Breath of the Wild. It was the start of something what now we see as the Switch, the powerhouse that it is, what can be done with gaming and all that. So yeah, definitely has to go to Breath of the Wild. Where somebody's gonna like assassinate me for that comment. This episode should just be called Oof, like plain and simple. It's been ridiculous, and I still got to get used to actually looking at the camera because I keep looking at my preview, not the camera. For Mario Party, yeah, that literally came out in 2018, 19, 20, 21. 3 years later to do an online update. That's insane. So, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. See, so this one is a little bit tougher for me because I feel like you can make an argument. So I'm just going to narrow it down just so people know what I'm talking about. But you can make the argument for Red Dead, God of War, Smash Bros, and Monster Hunter World. But I will say I'll knock off Monster Hunter World right now only because it was the entry to Monster Hunter being bigger in the West, because it usually was only big out in the East. But Monster Hunter World definitely started what we see now with Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch, for it to be more popular in the West. But I'll knock it out just because it didn't have the impact right then and there, right away. It took some time. It had some time in the oven, you know? So now it's just between Red Dead, God of War, and Smash Bros. I know people aren't necessarily going to agree with me on this one, but I think I'm going to have to knock off Red Dead, because I think a lot of people do agree, and I'm going to try to keep it spoilers free, even though it's been out again since 2018, that after Chapter 3, it did feel that maybe creatively they handed the story off to somebody else, and it just felt like you hit a wall, and the last part necessarily wasn't enjoyable. Now, if you had played Red Dead, the original one, you kind of understand why that transition needed to happen, but it just seemed like you just hit a brick wall. You're like, whoa, what happened? So I think I'm gonna have to knock off Red Dead, and now it's between God of War and Smash Bros. And between this one, God of War, fantastic hack and slash, added more RPG elements to this one, and the switch over to Norse mythology was fantastic. Not to mention the collector's editions, which I wish more collector's editions would do. There was actually kind of like a little puzzle you could solve on the collector's edition, and if you did, it actually gave you a code for the game for extra DLC, which is kind of cool. But at the end of the day, I think it has to go to Smash Bros. And I know, like, especially if, you know me, he's like, oh no, you're just a Nintendo guy, blah, 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 that's why I picked Smash Bros. Multiple people have stated multiple times that Smash Bros. Is the celebration of gaming. So many crossovers in the base game. There's like, 68 characters in the base game. They've added 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 extra characters all across the landscape. Like, I remember when they announced Joker, specifically from Persona 5, that there were people that were streaming it that were saying, yeah, well, I gotta buy a Switch. When they announced Sephiroth, that kind of broke the internet as well. So with Smash Bros. Being the celebration of gaming, I think it does have to take 2018, just because at that point, I don't think you're necessarily saying, oh, Smash Bros. Is, how to say, it's like, oh, it's not a Nintendo thing, it's a gaming thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you like gaming, there's a good chance you've probably heard about Smash Bros. So 2019, this is gonna be the finale, because obviously the decade's just from 2010 2019. I might do 2020 as just for a fun fact, just because I kind of want to see what essentially happened from the aftermath, but during the pandemic, like, because I know for a lot of us, it probably felt like it was like a year long, or not. Well, obviously it was a year long, but it just felt longer than that. For some of us, it might have been shorter than that. We'll take a look, but let's see. So Death Stranding, Sekiro, Control, I have to try it, but I still don't get it. I've yet to talk to a single person that's played Control, but yeah, it still got nominated for Game of the Year. It just still boggles me, I guess. Jedi Fallen Order, Outer World, Resident Evil 2, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Fun fact, that fell on my birthday. It came out on my birthday. I didn't pick it up, but I thought it was funny. It's like I should pick it up, but I didn't. Gears 5, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Mortal Kombat 11, Luigi's Mansion 3, nice, Borderlands 3, Untitled Goose Game, Disco Elysium. Okay, that confused me. It's like Red Dead, what the hell? But yeah, I forgot. PC port came out later. Resident Evil 2, Sekiro. Man, I thought last year was tough. This year it's tough, mainly because, in my, I guess, personal opinion, again, being in the gaming industry, you only see so much, again, because a lot happens, but I'm not going to say like I'm a part of every genre ever, so it's obviously, yes, even though I lean a little bit more towards Nintendo these days, I used to be big in the zombies community, Call of Duty Zombies. So when something big happened, I would know about that right away, but then other people that played it casually, it was like, what's the big deal, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I know probably The contenders right now: Resident Evil 2, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Dragon Quest. And then Dragon Quest was a big deal because, again, it was more of stuff that was popular out in the East, trying to make a footprint in the West, but it still didn't have the overall. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with the Game Awards on this one and give it to Sekiro. And again, I guess it's the Souls effect. That's the best way to describe it, because it was still made by From Software. Because of that, we will do 2020. I am kind of curious. Oh, I'm just looking at it right now. It's probably Animal Crossing. But then, yeah, you had Cyberpunk, Last of Us 2. Man, that's crazy to think that was just last year. That, again, it felt like decades ago. Ghost of Tsushima, Valhalla, Miles Morales. Yeah, November. Yeah, I guess that's true. Avengers, Tony Hawk, Flight Simulator. This one, I'm not going to, draw, a line in the sand for anything. I'll just... With 2020, I can imagine that any and everybody has their own one, and that year more than anything, because if we had a game that got us through the pandemic, at least through the worst part of it, in my personal opinion, good for you. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a condescending way. Like, if you literally played Bejeweled, and that what got you through all that, I mean, props to you, man. It was tough. 2020 was tough. So, because Royal, definitely, I have a story, but I can't necessarily say that on a YouTube video. Maybe a stream, because then the stream eventually I can make disappear. But the Royal definitely was for me. Last of Us Part 2 could have been for somebody. Hades could have been for somebody. I'm surprised. Okay, I was about to say, I'm surprised I don't see Animal Crossing, but I do see Animal Crossing at the bottom there. Animal Crossing, I think, just because... And it kind of has to do with my Persona 5 story. Animal Crossing was right when, at least around here, where the shutdown started to happen. So a lot of people were just scrounging to possibly get Animal Crossing, because, like, hey, if we can't go outside, might as well go to a desert island. Deserted island. And just, make my own house, make my own island, try to cope in what way, so... But again, like I said, I think everybody and anybody had their own games that they used to deal with everything, so... But I think that's gonna do it for now, guys. This last part definitely got a little bit more impactful, in my opinion, so... I'm also using just the one camera this time, because I managed to actually get my TV to, like, come in spectacularly. Now, I don't know if it has to do with the light, or the natural lighting outside, or my camera settings, but because I got it to be set up the way it was, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna set up my other camera. And again, I'm looking at the screen, I'll get better at this eventually, I promise. So, but yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this list? I mean, again, I know there were some people that already disagreed with it, but I mean, if you have your own list, like, maybe put it down in the comment section down below. Let me your parameters. Are you doing the 1 year thing? Are you just taking it as a whole to see what games you just liked in general? So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. And if you guys like this style, I mean, again, I'm slowly figuring out my stuff. Making one more change, probably, because I do have my second screen over here. I think I might eventually put it over here, and then essentially move everything, shift it down. I don't know. Just little angles I need to fix, so, yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in. This has been The Generation 71. We'll catch you guys later.